The Federal Trade Commission is an independent agency of the U.S. government that aims to protect consumers and ensure a strong competitive market by enforcing consumer protection and antitrust laws. For weeks, the FTC has been documenting a dramatic rise in scams associated with the pandemic and offering tips to consumers on its website for how to deal with financial problems caused by the economic turmoil. Today's briefing is particularly important because ethnic media plays such an important role in warning our communities of the efforts to scam and defraud them. This is a role we must reinforce in moments of crisis such as this pandemic. And now joining us is Monica Vaca, Associate Director of the Division of Consumer Response and Operations for the FTC's Bureau of Consumer Protection. Monica, welcome, and the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and thank you for giving me a chance to talk about scams and how they're affecting people, especially during this pandemic. Obviously, such an important time that we're communicating about the various ways that people are trying to take your money and your information. So let's get started. Big picture, what we see at the FTC, and this is true always, is that scammers follow the headlines. And what's in the headline right now is COVID-19. Everything is about coronavirus all the time. And scammers are following that lead as well. So we're seeing them pitch so-called treatments, so-called cures for the coronavirus without any proof that they work. Of course, this is illegal. We're seeing everything from miracle cures and vaccine offers and home test kits to scams that target people on Medicare. So that's the headlines that they're following, but they're also following the money. They're pretending to be the government. They are trying to get people's economic impact payments. Those are the stimulus payments that the IRS is sending out. And they're trying to rip off small businesses as well by saying they can get them business loans when they cannot do that. They're lying about the money to be made by selling cures and treatments, which are also fake themselves. So those are some of the things that we're seeing. I think you've got up on your screen a PowerPoint presentation, and if you could just go back to the first slide, we can just get started. So I want to show you some examples of the various things that we're looking at. Just if you could go back, yeah, here we go. Why don't we go ahead and start with this one? So what you're looking at here is it's a fake email. It's a fake email, and you'll see that it's got the World Health Organization's logo on it. And this is a common tactic. What scammers do is they send emails, they send texts. They're trying to get your personal information. They're trying to get your money. They're trying to load malware onto your computer. And this is a nice example of one that would do that, would put that malware on your computer. We've also seen that scammers have brought up lots of domain names that have bought up lots of domain names that include the word coronavirus or a misspelling, a slight misspelling of the word. Don't visit those sites. They will put malware on your device. So here's the tip, and here's what people need to know. Do not click on links from sources that you don't know. It can download a virus onto your computer or onto your device. So please be careful of that. Okay, let's go to the next slide. I want to show you a fake text message. Here's one, and this one's nice. It's in Spanish, so you can see sort of how these are coming at people. This one's been circulating on WhatsApp. It's in Spanish, and it's advertising money for people who are quarantined at home. Scammers are going to go to pretty much any length to make their message look real. Again, what you see are some of those little signals. You see that eagle icon there. That's supposedly the executive office of the President of the United States. It is not actually from the office of the President of the United States. This is a typical tactic that scammers use to try to make a message look like something you can trust by making it look like it's affiliated with the government. And we see lots and lots of those types of complaints and those types of reports. This one supposedly had a list of people who could apply for a government grant, which was basically anybody. It had misspellings and cut off sentences, and so you can see that it's a phone. So here's a tip for you. You know that this text is most likely a scam because the federal government is not reaching out to you by text message. They're not reaching out to you by email, phone, or social media to give you your economic relief payment in this pandemic. That's not the way they're reaching out to you. So let's go to the next slide, because apart from fake text messages, we're also seeing, and I alluded to this early on, cures, supposed cures for cancer. Here's one. So we filed a complaint to stop the sellers of whole leaf organics from making claims that Thrive, and that's this pill here, a pill with vitamin C and herbal extracts, is scientifically proven to treat an illness like COVID-19. And they were also saying that several of their products treat cancer as well. But according to the FTC's complaint, there was no solid scientific backing for any of those claims. So we can move on to the next one. So what is the FTC doing about all of these scams that we're seeing in the marketplace? Well, we're doing a bunch of different things. One of them is law enforcement, as you can see from that last slide. One of them is education, and that's part of what this is. We're trying to make sure we get the word out there so people are aware that these scams are out there and that they know how to spot them and avoid losing money. But we're also sending lots and lots of warning letters. We're warning companies that are pitching cures and treatments with no scientific backing, telling them to cut that out. We are warning phone providers, voice over internet protocol providers, VoIP providers we call them, that help robocallers make coronavirus-related scam calls. So, all of those calls that you get on your phone, we are trying to warn the VoIP providers to cut that out. And then we're also sending warning letters to multi-level marketing companies that both pitch unproven cures and make false claims about the earnings that you might get by joining that company. So those are some of the warning letters we've done. We've also brought some cases, and what you're looking at right here is a site for a company that the FTC sued. This company allegedly claimed to be affiliated with the Small Business Administration. It lured businesses into applying for the Paycheck Protection Program loan through this company, but in fact, there was no tie to the Small Business Administration and this company. And so we brought that case a couple of weeks ago. And we brought a case against a company, and I mentioned this one, the Whole Leaf Organics, that said that its product could cure COVID-19 when it had no proof that it could do that. So what can you do to learn about more of these types of scams that are out there? Well, one thing you can do is you can go to ftc.gov/coronavirus. That is a web page that is dedicated to telling the public what it is that we are seeing and what it is that the FTC is doing in this fight. For businesses, you can visit ftc.gov/coronavirus/business for regular updates, and you can subscribe. Okay, and then I wanted to share with you, if we can go to the next slide, some data. So one of the things that we do at the FTC is we hear from the public. We hear from people across the country about what it is that they're experiencing. And when we hear what they're telling us, it gives us a little bit of insight into what's going on in the marketplace. Actually, it gives us a lot of insight into what's going on in the marketplace. And what you're looking at